With E3 being right around the corner, many eyes are on Sony and Microsoft, especially given the recent releases of the PS5 and Xbox Series X. A lot of monster taming fans are hoping for some new reveals at this event. Until then, let's take a look at what is currently available and up and coming for both the PS5, Xbox Series X, as well as the previous generations being the PS4 and Xbox One. This is a sister video to one I did a while back going over 10 monster taming games for these systems, and this is much of the same. Feel free to check that one after you're done here and subscribe for all things monster taming. That said, let's dive in. Alright, so first up, we have a no-brainer being Temtem, a monster taming game that in many ways played a major role in the recent boom of the genre. Temtem is a monster taming Pokemon-like MMORPG that has you exploring various floating islands, defeating various dojo masters, foiling the plans of Bel Soto, and of course capturing, training, and breeding various Temtem. The game is currently available in early access on both Steam and PS5, however will be coming to the Xbox Series X as well as the Nintendo Switch at a later unknown date. The game even has plans for a Battle Frontier-like area. It has ranked matchmaking for those of you who are more PvP inclined, and roughly 50 to 60 story hours of gameplay. I do recommend it for anyone who's just starting out in the monster taming genre and maybe want something similar to Pokemon but an alternative or something to keep them quenched until the next title. Another highly anticipated title is the game Relegend, a monster raising and farming game that is sort of a mesh between a game like Animal Crossing and your typical RPG. The game features real-time combat in which your monsters act more like companions to your character, with them fighting alongside you and overall having a pretty cutesy and wholesome tone to it. You can craft various weapons, evolve your monsters, fight bosses, and play cooperatively as well. Unfortunately, the release date has been pushed back in order to further polish the game and make the co-op system better, but we don't have an official date. Now, whether or not Ninth Dawn 3 is a Mon Light in that it's a game with monster taming elements, or a full-out monster tamer, one thing for sure is that the game is extremely fun to play. This game is challenging and features dozens of monsters that can fight alongside you as well. The game features an open world, a real-time system, dozens of quests, tons of optional areas, weapons, armor, skill, etc. Honestly, if you're looking for some type of monster taming experience that will really mix up the typical formula, I highly recommend this one. Just don't get mad at me if you get absolutely decimated by your enemies. It's quite challenging. Laxidaze is a bit of a newcomer to the table, with it currently holding its Kickstarter campaign, which is just under 2 weeks remaining. The game absolutely crushed its Kickstarter goal and will undoubtedly be a very interesting project. That said, the game is a cyberpunk monster taming social sim with real-time combat. The game has you pitted in this futuristic world where chaos and corruption is the norm, and you have to make sense of it all. Honestly, for a game that's still running its Kickstarter campaign, it does look extremely polished and honestly seems like a really cool idea. There are various classes for the player to choose from, including tanks, assassins, and even a Beastmancer class, and then you can join up with various other characters as well and your Nanim partners in order to accomplish your goal. I'll leave their Kickstarter linked in the description for those interested. The Lost Child is a monster taming dungeon crawler heavily inspired by the Shin Megami Tensei series and has you, the main character, preparing for the inevitable war between angels and demons. I've heard mixed reviews about the game, but one thing that does seem to pop up is that people tend to call it an easy version of the Shin Megami Tensei series, so maybe if you're interested in the whole demon taming aspect and the fusion and evolution and stuff like that, but want the game to not absolutely crush you every time you play, maybe this is a game for you. While there has been some debate as to whether or not Ark Survival Evolved is a monster taming game or a survival game with monster taming elements, let me just say that if you are looking for a game that fuses these two genres together, then you'd probably find some solace in this one, as I think it's the closest you're gonna get. Other than creating a base, surviving, and absolutely getting destroyed in public servers, Ark Survival Evolved features various monsters, most of which are dinosaurs, that you can tame, ride, and battle against each other, as well as raise their stats and stuff like that. There is also the second Ark, which I'm assuming is also going to come out on all next generation consoles, but we don't have a whole lot of information about that game just yet. If you wanted to try out the original, now's the time. Ni no Kuni: Wrath of the White Witch is a story-driven monster taming experience boasting the extremely revered art style of Studio Ghibli. The combat system is very interesting in that it pits you into a real-time environment when colliding with certain enemies, and then you're required to use your familiars as well as yourself to fight alongside you, attacking, dodging, and defeating your enemies as you go. I have heard some mixed opinions regarding the game's story. Some say it's very simple, lacking depth. Others say that its subtlety and simple nature, as well as underlying themes, are its best parts and selling points. points. So either way, it is a pretty high regarded game, so definitely check it out. It simply would not be a monster taming list video without mentioning Digimon, and this time we got Digimon Story Cybersleuth, a story-driven RPG where you can collect and battle your favorite Digimon while exploring the network and uncovering the corruption that exists within it. There's a reason that this is stated by many to be their favorite Digimon game, and it provides an intriguing story, fun and intuitive turn-based combat, and the ability to collect various Digimon and add them to your team and train them much like you'd see in a game like Pokemon. We're currently in the process of playing through Cybersleuth on the channel here, so definitely feel free to check out our Let's Play series if you're interested. Next, we got World of Final Fantasy, a game that I'm sure many of you expected to be on this list, and for good reason. With it being a spin-off of Final Fantasy, sort of like how Monster Hunter Stories is a spin-off of the Monster Hunter series, the game has captivated a decently sized niche with people begging for more. That said, the game is what you'd expect from a Final Fantasy game with the inclusion of monster taming, but also provides a unique twist to the game featuring a stacking system, which is kind of like Fusion in that stacking various mirages together will provide different bonuses. Some work together better than others and stuff like that. But even as a standalone game, many people say that this game is a very interesting monster taming experience. Lastly, we have Monster Viator, a story-driven monster recruiting RPG with turn-based combat. In this game, you play as Coulter, a boy who of course has lost his memory, and has an odd ability that allows him to speak and communicate with various monsters. In this game, you must fulfill the role of the legendary hero with 1,000 monsters and fulfill your destiny at the Fountain of Youth, or something like that anyway. I just wanted to say here, special thanks to one of our regular viewers, Marcelo, for bringing this game to our attention. So yeah guys, that's pretty much it for today's video, but who knows what the future will hold, and I would not be surprised whatsoever if we see ourselves doing a PS5 and Series X video down the line filled with all new monster taming games that weren't present at this current time. The genre continues to grow and the amount of games continue to increase. That said, if you did enjoy this video, make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at GymLeaderEd. Check out our subscriber Discord as well as my Patreon. All links will be in the description. See you next time guys. Peace.